Good afternoon, everyone. Those who are in Singapore and those of you joining us online. I'm Dr. Ghazalnaz, and actually I want to start this session with reviewing some of the contents before I get into my background and the whole content. It's my honor actually to welcome you all on this session, this special day, October 1st, 2025. And my presentation is titled with, "This is not just AI, it's the future of learning, working, and being." So before I explain about myself and tell you a little bit about my background, I ask you a question and start with this question. When you hear the AI word, what comes to your mind? Is it something like ChatGPT? Or is it something like robots or something existing or something scary? In this session, I'm going to take you through understanding of what AI really is, and at the same time telling you about some background of AI history, plus some of the recent project and some of the future work, and at the same time, finally, I want to call you an action, and following by the Q&A. So please keep your question till to the end. I would like to talk about myself before I get into the whole session. Actually, I started learning computer when I was 6 years old, and I have to thank my mom because she created this opportunity for me. I started learning the computer by DOS commands, and following by that in school, I used to achieve a high distinction mark for computer science. So following by that, 20 years ago, I migrated to Malaysia, and I studied in Malaysia. Following by that, I worked in different countries. And gradually, I finished my PhD in computer science in Malaysia at Taylor University. And at the age of 24, I became a lecturer at OC College in Malaysia, while I was actually doing my master. So for almost 10 years, I've been teaching, mentoring, and also researching. And alongside of academia, I worked in different companies such as Nivan Company and ReadyMaker. And also I did some business myself in F&Bs, and at the same time in B&B businesses. So alongside of academia that I mentioned to you, I'm gonna explain to you about some of my projects, including Dentix AI, fish farms, and at the same time, tourism and metaverses. So now you know a little bit about me. Let's move to the foundation of today's talk. I would like to start with this question. What is AI? And what actually AI really is? Talk about the AI. In official terms, I can say that AI is the simulation of human intelligence in machines. Means that when we are going to implement our machines, we are trying to simulate the machines looks like the human. And AIs includes machine learning, deep learning, computer vision, robots, and which I'm going to talk about these kind of different layers of AI little later after in different slides. So right now I'm going to talk about some of the history of AI, which is very interesting. In most of the people, they will think that AI is a new thing, which is not a new thing. In 1950s, which is 75 years ago, someone who called Alan Turing, he came up with a question, and he asked that, if machine can think, so what is going to be happen? And 6 years right after he came up with that question, John McCarthy, which we know him as the father of AI, he turned the coin and he mentioned that AI. So you can see that the actually McCarthy right there. And in 1970s and 80s, AI was under the winter, because all of the researcher was trying to find about the AI. But right after that, in 2010, which is 2010, deep learning actually revolution started. And that's why in 2025, right now, we have ChatGPTs, self-driving cars, and generative AI. So let me, I start with something else, which is very important. Some of the foundational work of John McCarthy, which you need to know about it when we are going to review it. We can get some hands-on an understanding of why we reach of all this revolution by today. As you can see that from 1959, John McCarthy, he came up with a program with common sense. And at the same time, in 1960, he pursues the function of symbolic of expressions. Following by 1963, he came up with a basic for mathematical theory of computations. In 1963 also, he came up with another idea, which is the situation, action, and causal laws in AI. And also in 1969, in the same year, he came up with the philosophical problems for the standpoints of AI. Looking at his background and how he came up with different extension and advanced concepts in AI, that's why we know him as the father of AI. So let me move to the layers of artificial intelligence, which most people, they just know artificial intelligence as itself, and they don't know that the different layers of artificial intelligence. We usually know artificial intelligence as a core of circle, and people, they think that's okay. We are using ChatGPT, we are using, for example, Google Map is only, we call it as AI. But it is not only the artificial intelligence, it's the work of different layers of AI. We have machine learning AI, deep learning AI, generative AIs, which all of this is a subset of each other in the core to the artificial intelligence. So let me tell you a little bit about machine learning, because machine learning is the first subset of artificial intelligence, and we usually use machine learning to find the pattern and recognize the pattern from the hidden data of our data. So usually machine learning have two sets of type, is unsupervised and supervised, and we usually use this supervised machine learning for some of the classification and regression models. And it will help us to find the pattern throughout that. And then again, we use unsupervised one, which is actually type of the unsupervised machine learning, that we don't need to supervise our data. It means that we don't need to label our data while we are doing this model. And this type of machine learning will help us to find the patterns only. But when we reach to the deep learning, we use actually deep learning to find the feature of our data, inside our data, which is more deep and can help us to find more details inside our machine learning, inside our actually implementation. Usually we use that for diagnosing, for example, breast cancer, or diagnosing something like dental issues, and this is more stronger than machine learning. Coming to the generative AI, generative AI actually is totally different with machine learning and also deep learning. It's kind of creative, so they create something for us instead of finding something throughout the hidden pattern. And we know those as ChatGPTs, all those kind of different OpenAI accesses that we use it nowadays. Let's move on to the different types of AI, which is also important while you are knowing all different layers. We have two types of AI, which I call them actually, they are similar, and both of them are have the similarity to each other. Type 1 is narrow AI, general AI, and strong AI, which narrow AI is similar to actually theory of mind. And also general AI looks like somehow theory of mind as well. But the strong AI is the self-awareness. In narrow AI, I can give you some of the examples like ChatGPT, like Siri, like face recognition. Coming to the general AI, we are actually in the theoretical framework level and still is under the construction. And talk about the strong AI, which is the heuristic AI, it still is just a theory. So moving to the second type, which is reactive machines. We usually know reactive machines as only the machines that they cannot save the memory. So they are with the zero memories. And the example is like Deep Blue Chess in IBM. And then coming to the limited memories, when it comes to the limited memories, we have some kind of machines like common self-driving machines when they are going to find the traffic in between the traffic. time. And also talk about the theory of mind, as I told you, that is similar to the ChatGPT, narrow AI. Talk about the self-awareness. The self-awareness actually is just an idea for now, and we don't know that whether we can reach to that point or it's going to stay as only a theory. So now we know all those layers, let's move to the ingredients of AI. In AI, we have different components. We have data and algorithms. We have machine learning, natural language processing. Then we have reinforcement learning, and following by infrastructure, which is GPUs, cloud computing, and also human. Talk about the data, which is one of the most important point of our components. Data actually is our fuel. Without the fuel, we cannot do anything. And algorithms are all those machine learnings. Natural language processing also is a part of our algorithms. And how we build these algorithms is kind of mathematical, combination of mathematical statistic plus our actually scripts. So we use both of them to create our architecture and then implement our data with those architecture. And we know them as mapping our programming. Talk about the infrastructure and GPUs that we have it nowadays. We use them actually to put up our actually implementation with the cloud. And you have to remember that without humans, none of these components is meaningless, right? So we need human, and we need to implement our components with human, definitely. Moving to the application of AI in life, which this is actually one of the most important part that we have it in nowadays in our life. We usually use Netflix, and we usually get some recommendations from them. We usually use Spotify, and we receive some recommendations, which is part of our application that we use daily in our life. We have a smart home, like for example, we can open our doors with the application that we use from our phone, or sometimes we can control our temperature from our home, we can use some of the application that is available, and we can use it as part of the smart homes. Again, we have some virtual actually assistant like Siri, Alexa, that we use them to normally we use them with our phone in dailies. For example, I used to book my time with my Siri, and they can help me to do it on spot. Also, we have some healthcare diagnostics that we usually use this kind of healthcare diagnostics. Doctors, they will use it as well to recognize whether someone who is having the cancer or not. Let's look at this fun video.
Doctor, but I think you need some vitamin D. Can I get your number to prescribe some?
So actually, we know this guy. His name is Riz Robot, and Riz Robot actually he's living in US, and he's a cowboy actually in Texas. And usually they will use this kind of robots nowadays to make people to be more into all of these kind of robots around the actually US. But what they can do actually, they can help us and assist us in different ways. For example, he mentioned that he could see the person and he find the issue of the person that is lacking of vitamin D. So guess that one day we're gonna have this kind of robots and can help us to recognize our situation faster than the doctor. What is gonna happen? So we're gonna have a better life faster, and also doctors can have a better life as well, right? So in AI application in work, we can talk about the automation of routine tasks, decision making with data, generative AI for content creation, and human AI collaboration, which I already mentioned to you that some of those applications that the doctor will use AI to extract or find some of the hidden pattern of disease of the people. Coming to the AI application in education, we normally use grading automations. We have adaptive learning platforms like LearnJCU, Hakoon these days we use, and generative AI as well. We have enhancing creativity and engagement, plus remote and personalized education. That all of this has, within a few minutes, I'm going to show you the different aspects of education in recent research. And you can see that all of this has a positive impact in student well-being and also student education, plus the instructors as well. I would like to show you some of my research highlights and tell you that all of this research highlight is in which level of AI. So actually, during my PhD, I came up with the idea, founded that automated dental age estimation. And this idea was not just an idea, it was very unique. So that's why I'm looking forward to commercialize this idea. This kind of application is a combination of AI and machine learning and deep learning again. And talk about the sleep sync, which is one of my actually collaboration ideas that I'm working with one of my colleagues, Dr. Annie. We are trying to tackling the bedtime procrastination, and we use AI plus human-computer interaction. We developed different models, and right now we are in the second step of our application. With one of my other colleagues from aquaculture, Professor Suzanne, we are trying to make the real-time monitoring and dashboard for aquaculture. And also I work with different colleagues for tourism and metaverse, two of my other colleagues. We came up with an idea of AI and sustainability in travel. Also, I implemented some other aspects of statistical modeling and a few others, which is breast cancer that I didn't mention it here. So now I want to show you something which is very interesting beyond the work that we do as a specialist. We're also working on in our students, and we can see that how students already become more strong day by day, and this is really happy for me as well to see. My student actually tried to estimate and find the actually emotional detection throughout his experiment. You can see that he actually trying to find out the natural surprise or sad or happy face. And I'm really happy that he did these experiments. Means that the future inventors are already shaping the AI, right? Let me move to some of the recent report, which is actually, these are the reports that's come up from McKinsey 2025. They mentioned that employees are more AI ready than the managers think. At the same time, they mentioned that by 2030, the global, they should expect of 375 million of workers, they must switch them job, which is actually, this is the point that we need to think about it. I would like to show you some of the recent research findings that I found it throughout 2025 and 2024, and you can see that actually the impacts of ChatGPT for students or workers or work skills, they mentioned that a different way. So you can see that one of the study was thinking about the effects of ChatGPT on student learning performance and learning perception and higher order thinking. So they came up with 51 studies between 2022 and 2025, and they had the large positive effect on performance and some medium effects on perception and higher order thinking. There was another studies in 2025 again exploring the effects of AI on student well-being. They mentioned that the benefits was access, feedback, and research, and the risk was actually stress, isolation, and privacy. And they also mentioned that this AI showed that impact on the student well-being as well as performance. There was a systematic review, which they reviewed 43% of students and 50% of instructors use AI in daily routines. At the same time, in 2024, again, there was another study about the artificial intelligence for workers and future of work skills. They mentioned that the AI literacy and human-centered skills, they need to think about the critical thinking, adaptability, ethics, which are essential in future workplace. There was some more studies. They focused that the future of AI in classroom, and they found it that AI literacy, prompt engineering, and critical thinking. Plus, another study found that misinformation integrity and quality was missing there. And there was a training guidelines and trust for AI adoption. And last research that I mentioned here, which was research trend in use of artificial intelligence in higher education, which they mentioned that policy and equity gaps was remain. Now let's move to the future of work. You already know some of the previous reports and also recent research. And I want to show you that what we need to think about the future of work. McKinsey mentioned that 30% of tasks need to be automated by 2030. And also we as a human, we need to shift to learn and understand and also become creative and leadership. So I actually came up with out of all of those research, I came up with the skills of the future. And I mentioned that 2C plus EH means that CECH. And I wanted to mention that critical thinking and creativity, which is the two first C, is one of the most important of the skills that we have to pay attention on it. Empathy and leadership and human-centered problem solving is the other part of our skills that we have to work on it. At the same time, I would like to show you the case study example in Singapore, which I'm working here. As you can see that Singapore's skills future, and Malaysia, which is our neighborhood, Malaysia MDEC, which is Malaysia Digital Economic Collaborations, they actually highlighted the national focus in reskilling. So again, McKinsey mentioned about 30% or 375 million employees, they have to reskill or either switch them job. And at the same time, in Malaysia, 89% of Malaysians workers, they believe that they need to reskill themselves, and 93% of them, they're already ready to reskill themselves. So it means that reskilling is seen as better investment than rehiring for the companies, right? So I think I would like to talk about the opportunities and challenges that we are going to face later. The opportunity will be efficiency and at the same time the personalization and innovation. But the challenges definitely will be bias, privacy, and misinformation and security. We have to make sure about the ethics, transparency, fairness, and also accountability as well. There are some future outlook and recommendations, which actually we have to look at to this if we want to move forward with the AI. So we have to look at to the path towards artificial general intelligence, make sure that human AI collaboration will be around the world, stay adaptable, and at the same time build our ethical manners for our society. It's time to call to action, and I want to tell you that these three things, learn actually continuously, work with the AI, not against of AI, and shape AI for human flourishing. Thank you, and remember that the future is written by us, not by machines. I would like to now invite you for the questions. And at the same time, if you'd like to follow me in LinkedIn or IG, I would be happy to have you in my account. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ghazal.
Lovely.
Your dental AI research sounds really interesting. Are you able to share more about that, or is it
For sure.
under wraps?
No, actually, I can share a bit, not with that side of the wraps, but again, I can share. So can I ask you what you want to exactly know?
Well, I'm assuming that you you use photos of the teeth, is it, or do you use something
let me
else?
go back and
you
show
talked
you
about
some
patterns
photos.
and
Yes.
yeah.
So what we did, is it recording? Okay. So what I did actually, I collected the accurate dental OPG images, which this kind of images is full image from, is this one. So it's from the left to right side of our face. And I actually collected all those data during the COVID. I really risked my life that time. So the data is really accurate, and that accuracy helped me to have an unbiased data, that's why I reached up to this very accurate age. And what we did actually at that time, usually we do it with machine learning and also deep learning to reach out to this kind of age. So we have to label each of the images separately, and then I have to actually create my algorithm, which I want to use it for implementing this data. And after that, we will train my model with those data. I'm going to split it to two sides, some of them in the training side and some of them for the testing side. Usually we make it 2080, and then I made up this application. I came up with this model.
Is this one person over the years, or is this just representative of the age?
Oh, this is one person for each. You mean that here is the years actually, representative of years, but again, I have for each inside of those years.
And so
this is just showing the years itself.
Yeah.
But for each of the years also we had, for example, 15 and 1 month and 3 days. I collected each of the days, those days that I could collect it. But it was really hard, to be honest, for that data collection, because when I used to go to the clinics, they didn't have any background of it. They actually could tell me that, for example, the day that the person who came, that day she or he was, for example, 15 years. And this is the data of the birth data of that person. So from that point, actually, I used to sit down and calculate, for example, for today, that person is which year. And that was a barrier of my data collection.
So sorry, I'm not understanding it. Sorry, it's me.
Okay.
You're getting the patterns of the teeth that change across time, and you're able to get a
In
accurate
our body,
prediction?
there is 14 index of finding the human age, which doctors can see by eye, but they cannot tell you accurately. For example, they can say that I am 20 years and 20 years, around 20 years, but they cannot tell me exactly I'm 20 years and 1 month and 3 days, for example. So what I did actually, I found the best index in our body, which was teeth, and then I used those to implement my work. But there are some secrets which I don't want to reveal it.
And what's the potential use that you could get from
Very
this
good question.
understanding?
The applications for this kind of application will be applicable in forensic institution, sport federation at the same time, immigrations, usually for asylum seeker, around the world we can use it. Yeah.
I've heard a lot recently about agentic AI versus other kinds, and I was wondering if you could give us a few pointers on the difference between generative AI versus agentic AI.
Okay, so you want to know that what's the difference, right? Well, actually, agentic I heard also as well, but it still is under the progress, I guess. Still not really at the place that we can use it, which is type of the super AI. Is in the not super AI, is in the human level of AI, and the difference is that they can act like human instead of just doing some of our tasks like creating some videos or whatever we do it with ChatGPT. Yeah.
Can you give me examples? Sorry, can you give us some examples on where that would take us? As a species.
In the future, I mean. Yeah, for example, they could be actually working us, for example, in the factory, they can be work instead of one of the staff. They can also calculate, they can find, for example, the pattern that we wanted. They can also help us to diagnose some early cancers. And these are the things that they are planning to do it with this futuristic AI. But I hope we can reach to that level. It will be probably a few years we need, or few decades we need to reach out to that level.
Sorry, I always have lots of questions. I think back last decade, so I think it was the decade of the brain, I went to some seminars at NUS, and the computational intelligence computing people, social computing, I think, were talking about, even then, trying to get machines to detect deception in people. And all of the skills that you flagged for the future seem very much the ones that haven't yet been able to be replicated in machines, such as detecting when somebody's trying to fool you. Has there been progress in that? And do you think with this agentic AI that that's something that could develop in the future?
I think it still is under the theoretical framework, and they are trying to make it. But definitely in few years we can reach out to that level. Yeah, if we have enough data for creating this kind of model. So the important thing is we need to put more data, the accurate data, and make sure that we continuously work with AI to reach to something to that level in future. But still it's under the progress, what I know.
I love that your students are working on it already. And so the facial detection of emotions has kind of been happening for a long time. I wonder if that's something that you might get them into, trying to fool AI into what sort of emotion they're feeling.
We can think about this as a project, and it's really interesting to me as well. And yeah, why not? We can actually apply it.
Thank you.
Lovely. Is there any other questions from the online ones? Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Gezel, for all the elaborations about the AI. One thing is that actually, in terms of technology, yes, we will go there to use AI. But other concern is about ethics,
Exactly.
such as using camera, you can predict the mood of someone. You can also predict, as Dennis mentions, how people reactions. So how this AI and will accommodate the ethics in terms of whether it is good things, to do. Yeah.
I think it's really based on where we are going to implement this kind of application. For example, if it's coming to psychology side and it's about the healthcare, we have to follow the ethics towards those healthcare ethical situation. And then if coming to just, for example, to the normal daily applications that we use, that we have some of the applications online, I think there has different ethics that they have to implement. But it still is based on where we are going to applicable this kind of application. But the ethics, of course, is very important. And as I mentioned, that one of the most important things is the ethics that we have to pay attention in the future. So is there any other questions? Yes, please.
Have you found yourself engaged in any
discussions about regulating AI?
Not really that level. So can you tell me a little bit about it?
Well, I mean, we are barreling forward to this wonderful future in which our devices have learned all of this stuff and they start doing things more and more automatically, but there might be good reasons why that's not always a good idea. You mentioned in passing ethics, but there might be all sorts of ways in which AI is going to be problematic, and it might be much more complicated than simply reskilling some workers. Should we be regulating it? California just passed an AI regulation law yesterday. Is it a good one? Is it a bad one? Which approach does it take? How does that compare to the regulating of AI in other places? The EU passed an AI Act. Is it good? Is it bad? What do you think?
Well, this is a very good question, and actually, I think we have to look at this two sides of AI, whether they're going to be our competitor or they're going to be our partners. So if they're going to be our competitor, we have to really keep human as a central and make sure that we don't reach to that level of competition. But if they just want to be our partner and assist us in our daily routines, in our tasks, in our jobs, that would be a good idea. What do you think?
You're speaking about AI as if it already exists.
It's all by itself, but it's something that we create. So when we talk about
Yeah, we
regulating
create,
it, we're talking about whether we should regulate what we do. What should we allow
Yeah, correct.
AI researchers like you to do, or shouldn't allow because it's dangerous?
Yeah, I know it can be dangerous, and even is in some point, some of the wrong research will go into, for example, killer robots, which is not healthy and is not even ethical, but still is happening. And I think, again, the researchers, they have to make sure that what they are doing around the world is not against of human. And we try our best, but still we have some point of research that some of around the world they do in the different way, which is going to be risky as well for us. So if there is no other question, I would like to thank you all for coming to this session. And I hope we're going to work towards the best of our future with AI, and we stay at the central and work to have a flourish future. Thank you.